Hello, teacher. We are Group 4, and today we will talk about Chapter 6, The American Society, Families, and Household. Our group consists of 8 members: Ngọc Tuyền, Thu Sương, Thảo Hiền, Quỳnh Anh, Phước Thịnh, Trung Lương, Vĩnh Luân, and Hàng Hiếu. And here is the agenda. We will cover 5 learning objectives. The first about explain the concept of household type and their influences on consumption. The second, summarize the household life cycle, various stages, and marketing implications. The third, understand the family decision process. Four is about describe the role that households play in the child socialization. And the last one about explain the source of ethical concern associated with marketing to children. And let us move into the first learning objective presented by Hoàng Hiếu about the concept of household ties and their influences on consumption.
The first learning object I will represent about it is about the nature and the influence of the American household. The define of the family is the primary consumption. Let me talk about something about this. Whereas the household is a primary consumption units of the products and the service, not all the household under one roof of the family. Traditionally, family is defined as one, two, or more person related by blood, marriage, or adoption who reside together. And about the family's life cycle, it is a concept that combines demographic variable such as age of member, marital status, size of family, and employment status of the household head. And the family life cycle typically runs through a state of birth, growth, diminishment, and dissolution over time. So the type of the family is including the family's householder, non-family householder, traditional families, and a step family. The family's householder is defined as one having at least two members related by the birth, marriage, or adoption, one of whom is the householder. And a non-family householder is living alone or exclusively with the other to whom he or she is not related. The term traditional family is typically used to refer to a marriage opposite sex couples and their own or adopt children living at home. And a step family is also defined as a marriage couple family household with at least one children under the age of 18 or is a stepchild. So sorry about this. So about this one, unfortunately, the research on the family's household acquisition strategy is very spare, and thus not much is known about how the products acquisition decision are actually made and the role that member play in acquisition. In my presentation, I seek to provide some perspective in this context regarding the wine products. In terms of family household member decision role in the acquisition process, both role and decision-making style can be distinguished on the basis of the division of power. A family may be patriarchal, matriarchal, and egalitarian. Most students classify the family consumption decision as either husband dominant, wife dominant, and joint, either equal or syncretic or autonomic, either the solidarity or unity. And the next object, he will present about it.
Hello everyone, my name is Thảo Hiền and I am going to present the next learning objective, the household life cycle. First, let's take a look at family life cycle. It believes that families move into stages in an ordered manner. However, this does not reflect reality because moving from into or out of a stage is more complex, and this complexity has given way to several models of household life cycle. Household life cycle believes that households move into distinct categories over time, and each category represents different problems and needs. Therefore, this is a great way of segmentation. Next, I will talk about single one, the first stage of household life cycle. They are the people that from the age from 18 to 34 and have not yet established a marital status. They can be categorized into three smaller groups. The people that live with their parents, they are dominated by people under 25 and very active and social. Because they live with their parents, they bear little financial burden, which justify their little income. The second group are the people that live with others because they are responsible for more fixed expenses, but this can be shared with their roommates. Their burden has been lessened and making their ample income very reasonable. These two groups are similar because they are at the same level of popularity and they both care for convenience-oriented products, recreational products, and financial-related services. The next group are the people that live alone. They are majorly above 25 and the least popular group in here, and they are generally a good market for the same products and services. Here I have an example of the product that catch the attention of singles. That is cryptocurrency. They are recently fashionable for the ease and the risk of making money. Being such a lucrative financial service, it has attracts 43% of young US men, and this boom can also be seen in Vietnam. Next, I will present the young couple stage. These are the people from 25 to 34 years old, and they have yet have a children. The time that a family stay in this stage tend to expand because they delay having kids. Stepping into a new stage, they consider a new set of products and services that are just different from young singles like appliances, furnishing. With dual income, they are financially capable, and with no children, they spend money on themselves, on recreational and self-expression products like luxury vacations, expensive clothes. And next, Luang will present the full nest one stage. Thank you for your listening.
Hello, teacher. My name is Việt Luân, and after my friend he has talked about single one and young couples, I will continue that with all the six stages in the whole life cycle: fullness one, single parent one, middle age single, emptiness one, delay fullness one, and fullness two. So let us move into the first one about the fullness one, young marriage with children. It could say that the additional of your first children cause many changes in the lifestyle and consumption patterns of the household, such as new purchase of baby clothes, food, healthcare, and so on. The wife may withdraw fully or partly from the labor force, and many choices for the vacations, restaurants must be suitable with the children. And the second is about the single parent want, which is young single parents. A fact that birth and adoption by singles is increasingly nowadays. For this life cycle, the younger members tend to have lower education and very low incomes. They also have never been married, while the older ones may from the divorce and receive financial support. However, the need to work and raise young children creates many pressures and demands on the energies of these parents. Next, we're gonna look at the middle-aged single, usually in the age of 35 to 64, primary generation X and baby boomers. For this household, living alone is viewed as a lifestyle choice for making and even higher incomes to spend for themselves. Then about the emptiness one, the middle-aged married with no children. These parents are second married with children from the first one who do not live with the parent or left home. They have more free time due to the lack of responsibilities for their children, and they can also afford many expensive services and products. The fifth is the Fullness one, which is all the marriage with young children. They are members of baby boomers or Generation X, delay having their first child until the middle of 30. A characteristic of this group is the income. They have strong and longer income and willing to pay the best for their children and other facilities such as the home maintenances, furniture, and so on. Finally, is about the fullness too, which is mutual aid with the children at home. A distinctive difference between them and the Leibniz one is the age of the children. The age of the children is usually about 6 years old and older, making they suffer many higher demands as a result of the older children, from clothing, transportation, to saving for college, and so on, which may be a financial strain for them. And that is also the end of my presentation. Thanks for listening. And the next part will be of my friend here, who will show you the next household life circle in this part.
Hi teacher, my name is Sung and thank you Lung for introducing about the previous part of the household life cycles. And now I will introduce about this part and introducing marketing indications. First of all is a single parenthood. Uh, they are the individuals which belong to the 35 to 64 age group and who have children often faced with serious financial issues, and they often lack of some of financial, emotional, and time support. And nowadays, becoming a single parent is increasingly viewed as a lifestyle or choice for older or secured financially women. So next is the empty nest two, which belong to the older group with the age of above 64, and they currently either fully or partially retired. And due to the improvements in the healthcare system, the younger member of this group are healthy and well off. So there are really big markets for recreational services, and the spending rate, investment, and grandchildren. So um, so you can see that the family's access to a family rooms, properties, and the advance in age and assisted living home are important for them. And the older single would belong to the age of above 64, and nowadays it's approximately about 70% of all older singles are female, and probably two-thirds older single live alone. So the conditions of being older single create uniqueness for housing socializations or recreationals. Many financial firms have set up special programs to work with these older singles. And what's about the marketing strategy based on the household life cycles? You can see a consumer needs or desire changes with the age. Thus, a target market can be classified according to the age groups based on the life cycle stage. You can see the examples of the method of commercials and via the internet for the two segments of older and younger of the product like apparel. And the occupational metric with a vertical axis determine the problems the households likely encounter, and the horizontal axis is a set of occupational categories which provides range of acceptable solutions. And the purchase and consumption of many products are driven by the HLC's role. It's they posing the unique problems and opportunities. So factors such as income, occupation, and education heavily influence how individuals meet his or her needs. So it's makes sense to combine states in the HLC with one of these variables to add in a market segmentation and strategy formulation. So now when I will talk about the next part of family decision making.
Thank you, Sue, for such an informative presentation. And now, Dongin, I would like to discuss the family decision-making process. To begin, let us define the family decision-making. According to the textbook, family decision-making is a process by which decisions that directly or indirectly involve two or more family members are made. In the other word, it is a process in which family members make purchase decisions. A family purchase decisions process can be considered as an organizational buying decision process, as they are both complicated. On the other hand, family purchases are less monetary and more emotional, affecting family relationships. Now let's talk about the nature of family purchasing roles. In most families, there are 6 decision-making roles. For example, a family of 2 parents and a daughter is going on a trip. They've been traveling for an entire day, and the daughter is starting to feel hungry. The child is the first in the car to identify the need and announce it to everyone, indicating that she is an initiator. The mother will then use the internet to find a roadside dinner. As a result, she is an information gatherer. After a few minutes of Googling, the wife discovers some fascinating restaurants, including a Vietnamese pho, a sushi restaurant, and a McDonald's. The daughter wants chicken for dinner, so she suggests to go to McDonald's, and everyone agreed to do so. The child is the influencer in this scenario, and every member is a decision maker. They arrive at McDonald's and enjoy the meal together. Finally, the parents pay for it. In this case, the parents are the purchaser, and the entire family is the user. Does this how family members contributes to the family dinner decision-making process when on a road trip? In fact, different sorts of products will have varied structure in the decision-making process. For example, a husband usually the information gatherer, influencer, decision maker, and the purchaser for products such as electronic device, car, estate, or life insurance. On the other hand, the mother usually the information gatherer, purchaser, and user of products including food, kitchen appliance, or children education and healthcare. As a result, marketers must understand which individuals play which role in the process to build an effective marketing plan. Now let's move to the next part with Dui.
Hello, teacher. I'm not doing, and I will be the next person who will present the next part of this chapter. That is the determinant of a purchase decision in a family. And so buying decision in a family depends largely on five determining below. That is culture and subculture, role specialization, involvement in the product area, personal characteristic, or personality. And an example of the involvement in the product area that is the buying toys for the child in the family will largely depends on that child preference. And the next part is the conflict resolution. So it is inevitable that there's a lot of argument and disagreement within a family, and there's many ways to solve it, such as bargaining, use of authority, reasoning, playing on emotion, additional information from the third party, or impression management. For example, India have a culture of masculinity, so probably the husband will use their authority to confirm to confirm their superior expertise in a conflict, or maybe they negatively force others to agree with them. And the next section is the marketing strategy and my family decision making. So decision making process of a family varies significantly between market categories, such as stage in life cycle of a family or a subculture. And as a result, a marketer must consider family decision through the discover which family members are involved at each stage of the decision process, or determine what their motivations and interests are. And lastly is the develop a marketing strategy that will meet the needs of each participant. So an example is that because of COVID-19 pandemic, high school students must to switch to study online. It is necessary for them to buy a new laptop or iPhone or new phone to support their studying, and they may request with their parents that they want to buy those products. And at first, their parents will agree with them, but then they will consider again about the price or the function, whether it's appropriate for the child study or not. So that's the end of my part. The next part is the ability of children to learn, which will be presented by Lu. Thank you.
Continuing to support in learning objective 3, now we'll find out about consumer socialization, a process by which young consumers will learn about the skills, the impression, and attitude toward functions as the consumers in the marketplace. First, we'll find out about the ability of children to learn through Piaget cognitive development. So based on Piaget theory, children will suffer four stages of awareness. The first stage, the children will not yet think conceptually, but instead mimic what they see. Coming to the second stage, the children will come into the higher stage of language and can has a rapid conceptual development. To the third stage, the child develops the ability to apply logical thoughts to concrete problems. And to the fourth stage, the higher level of development, the child becomes able to apply logic to all classes of problems. When it comes to content of consumers' socialization, um, which can be broken down into three parts: consumer skills are those capabilities necessary for purchases to occur, consumption-related preferences are the knowledge, attitudes, and values that cause people to attach differential evaluation. And finally, consumption-related attitude are affect the impact of the surroundings on the judgment of the children toward a brand or knowledge. Finally, we have the process of consumer socialization, which can be impacted by the family, by friends or surroundings, such as advertising, but most importantly is the family, which, uh, which can be done by deliberately and casually, both through instrumental trainings, which is the which occurs when a parent or sibling specifically and directly attempts to bring out certain responses through reasoning and reinforcement, or through modeling, when a child learns by themselves through appropriate and inappropriate or consumption behaviors. The final one, mediation, occurs when a parent alters a child's initial interpretation of or response to marketing or other stimulus. And that's the end of learning objective 4. Coming to the next learning objective will be things part.
So hi, I am Tony. So thank you for introducing me, and I will take over the final part. So the Professor Jam might new develop a 5 stage of the model of how children learn to shop by visiting supermarket and other retail outlets with the parent. So on stage 1, during this day, children make a sensory contact to the marketplace and begin to forming the mental image of the marketplace objects and symbol. Stage 2, at this stage, the median age is 2 years. The children begin to request items in the store from their parents. So they use the pointing and the gesture as well as the statement to identify what they want. And at the stage 3, they're actually getting an item off the shelf without assistance is the first act of the independent consumption. And for stage 4, the most children learn to observing modeling that money needs to be given to get things from the store. They learn the value money given to them by their parent and other as mean that they require thing, and as satisfy making a purchase without a parent to overseeing it require a fairly sophisticated understanding of the value as well as the ability to visit the store and the section of the store safely without the parent. And when it's come to the internet, the monitors personalize and the identify based on the past internet activities as can be integrated with other marketing can apply children psychology, the market and research to the better understanding what they want and the motivation of the young buyer, like sponsor education, toys book, supply school for brand fidelity, sponsor to school event, or like free food and drink in front of their school. So yeah, that's it for this chapter. Thank you for listening to our presentation. We are group 4.